Hello, all of you internet people. I received messages from 20 of you, and I also received messages from some people from last year's trip who want to join again this year. So it looks like the road trip in July is definitely happening. Since that is the case, I'm going to spend 10 minutes and give all of the new people an idea of how this works and basically explain what life's like on the trip so that you can decide if you want to join. So, 2 years ago, I really wanted to go on this 90-day national park hiking trip, and none of my friends could go with me because they all had work and could only get about a week off. So, I posted the trip to a bunch of different sites on the internet, kind of like now, and 11 people from 8 different countries decided to join me. We had like 3 Skype calls, I think, and then for some reason they all trusted me enough to send me $2,000, and we met at the airport 3 months later and went on this beautiful trip around the country. So we're hoping to basically replicate that process but learn from our mistakes. So why didn't I just pay $10,000 and join a G Adventures trip, which is completely organized, all the equipment's provided, and I wouldn't have had to do anything? Well, one of the main reasons is that I think one of the cool parts of a trip like this is the adventure and the unknown. And when you go with a tour guide, everything's planned, and you kind of lose that feeling of adventure and start to feel more like you're on a passive tour. And that's also related to having responsibility on the trip, I think, when you're on the road and you have to deal with the changes and the problems that you encounter. At the end of the trip, you feel like you did a lot more and it was a more fulfilling trip. So, for example, when we were on our road trip, we were trying to get to the most beautiful hike in Utah. But to get there, you have to go on this road you see in the photo, which is full of rocks that create flat tires. So we went down the road, and of course we got a flat tire in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the road. So basically we had to divide into 2 teams, and 3 of us hitchhiked back to town and spent 2 days trying to find the right part to repair the car, while the other 3 were just sitting in a desert with a little bit of water. But at the end we repaired it, and we went to the hike and got off the road. And I think having to deal with all that made it just a very special moment. So being responsible for the trip, I think, is key when we're doing something like this. And then finally, of course, you want to connect with people and share the moment. So that's why I had to find all these strangers on the internet to go with me. But there is a challenge when you're 10 or 11 people from a bunch of different countries. And that's that all these cultures and perspectives all clash. So we had to figure out how to make that work and not want to kill each other in the trip, which fortunately we did. So instead of paying $10,000 for a guided tour, we visited all the same places for just $4,000. Score. And the trip was really amazing, and people were asking me if I would organize more trips using this new Avid style, and I decided I would. I actually created a business to protect myself legally while organizing these new trips, and I want to be clear that I won't be making any profit from organizing them. This is more of an experiment to see that if some of you guys who are considering joining will enjoy this Avid style of travel as much as we did the time before. So, what will it be like? The big question. Well, none of the trips are going to be the same, obviously, because everyone is different, the route is different, the conditions will be different. But there are a few things you can expect. First of all is that there's not much downtime. We have to set up the tents and cook, do dishes, take down the tents, drive, hike. We're almost always doing something except for when we're driving. So if you're expecting to come and sit in the forest and do nothing, it doesn't happen that often. We're usually on the go. Also, with people from around the world, you can expect a variety of foods and also a variety of music and lifestyles. This is really a trip for people who are flexible and not too picky about how everything happens. This is also a trip full of incredible moments. We see beautiful things all around the country, and we spend lots of time there. However, there are also really challenging moments, usually due to weather. For example, this is a picture of us in Crater Lake, Oregon. We drove 8 hours extra to go see this lake, and when we got there, a huge storm came, and we only had 5 minutes to see it until it was covered with the clouds. So things like this happen, and you have to be ready for that. Finally, we really immerse ourselves in nature. We are eating outside, we are bathing outside. I think we went 5 days without a shower once. You know, like, you really got to be ready to do everything in nature, live with the bears, sleep with the bears, and all of that. All right, so how does it work? Basically, I rent the car and provide all the shared equipment, which includes tents and bear cans and cooking tools. I'll send a detailed list a bit later. And then you're responsible for bringing your personal gear, like backpacks, boots, hiking poles, anything you use on your own. We'll all have a role to play, cooking, researching, things like that. And it's estimated to be about $40 a day. That's how much we spent last year. Could be more or less, but that's the estimate. We pay the fixed costs up front, and the variable costs we calculate during the trip and just share it using this cool app. The itinerary is flexible, so if there's bad weather, we can always change middle of the trip, and we will all meet in Seattle at the start date to begin. So basically how this works is we all fill out a trip profile explaining the kind of person we are in our hiking experience, and then we meet via Zoom and we discuss the trip and meet the people who are interested in going. If we're interested and you decide to join, then you commit and you pay the deposit for the car and equipment, and that way everyone can book their flights knowing that the trip is going to happen and the price will stay the same even if someone drops out. Then we have a second or third Zoom call and we discuss more, keep meeting each other, these kinds of things. And finally we meet at the starting point in Seattle and go on the trip. So the two trips that are happening is first the 2-week trip, which is going to be from July 8th to the 22nd about. And the idea is to basically start in Seattle and go down the coast, ocean shores, see the sand dunes, Astoria, and then cut over towards Bend, Oregon, and visit the Mount Hood area, visit Portland, do some hikes in Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier. There's a bunch of national forests all along that way, as you can see by the map, which is completely green. Basically just planning some hikes on this general route and exploring this part of the country. And then the second trip will be more focused on Washington State. It's only 5 days, and that will basically include the Olympic Peninsula of Washington. So Olympic National Park is really beautiful, and there's lots of cool hikes to go on in there. And there's also some beautiful beach hikes on the coast by Queets, where we can camp, on the beach and have these beautiful sunsets. So that'll be the second trip. So this will be the second experiment of Avid style travel. If you're still interested in joining, then I'll probably see you in July. If not, then I hope you still get out and explore this summer. Next summer, we'll probably do Canada and Alaska, so if you enjoy the trip this summer, you'll be also first in line for joining the next trips. And yeah, I guess the next step would be to message me with any questions, or you can just fill out your trip profile at that link in the video, and I'll be seeing you on a Zoom meeting probably in the next week. Have a great time out there. Hope COVID's not too tough on you, and maybe I'll see you soon. Bye.